Football is full of giants who once dominated the game but have now found themselves in a state of struggle. Today, we're highlighting 7 big clubs that are in serious need of a reset. From once mighty powerhouses to underperforming giants, these teams are facing crossroads and major decisions if they hope to reclaim their glory. Let's dive into which clubs are in desperate need of a huge reset. Manchester United, the club with one of the most iconic pasts in football, is, well, a mess right now. Sitting in the lower half of the table at this point of the season looks absolutely mental. Under Ruben Amorim, they've lost 5 games in the last month, including a painful 2-0 defeat to Newcastle at Old Trafford, where fans didn't hold back their frustrations. Even players like Amad Diallo, who gave them a rare bright moment with a last-minute winner in the derby, are out here begging fans to stick with them. That's how bad it's gotten. And Amorim? Well, he called the whole situation a little bit embarrassing. Ouch. But hey, at least he's taking responsibility, right? Let's not forget their 8th place finish last season, their worst since the 80s. I'm sure they bagged the FA Cup, but that feels like a band-aid on a much bigger wound. Truth is, it's not about the last 2 seasons. Man United have failed to find their footing since Alex Ferguson left. The question is, can they fix this now? Honestly, it feels like United needs a top-to-bottom reset. From their boardroom to their starting 11, if they ever want to return to their glory days. Right now, though, they are miles away. Manchester United's struggle is somewhat conceivable, as they've been going through a rough phase for some time now, but their derby rival Man City is the definition of being consistent. But right now, things are looking shaky. At one point, they lost 9 out of 12 games, and that's as many defeats as they had in their previous 106 matches combined. What is going on? Apart from the injuries, teams are starting to figure them out. City's high press has been leaving them vulnerable to direct counterattacks, and their box defending has been, well, let's say, less than stellar. Then there's the off-field drama. The ongoing investigation into alleged financial breaches is definitely not helping. Add to that the pressure of maintaining their dominance, and you got a team feeling the heat from all sides. Maybe it's time to hit a reset button for them too. Another team in the Big Six of the Premier League that should think about shuffling things around is Spurs. Despite flashes of brilliance, they've struggled to clinch silverware, and some high-profile managers haven't been shy about pointing fingers at the club's mentality and leadership. Antonio Conte, during his tenure, didn't mince words. After a 3-3 draw against Southampton, he labelled the players as selfish and took a swipe at the club's ownership, suggesting they were too comfortable with mediocrity. Jose Mourinho also had his share of frustrations. He openly criticised the squad's mentality, calling out lazy performances and questioning the club's ambition. That's 2 world-class managers making the same observation. Even Ange Postecoglou, though more reserved, has hinted at the need for a cultural shift within the club to foster a winning mentality. These critiques highlight a recurring theme, a club culture that seems to settle for less, lacking the killer instinct to secure trophies. It's a narrative that Spurs fans are all too familiar with, and one that needs addressing if they're to shed the nearly men tag and start filling that trophy cabinet. Tottenham's not the only team from London on the list. West Ham is also in need of a big reset. Despite splashing out £127.5 million on new players, they're struggling massively in the Premier League. Well, how did it come to this? West Ham's defensive frailties are evident, with the team conceding multiple goals in several matches. Even the owners, David Sullivan and the late David Gold, have been the subject of relentless criticism. Fans have long blamed the ownership for poor decision-making and a lack of ambition, which has contributed to West Ham's current plight. Even with the big money spent, they're still not getting what they need. Can the new manager turn it around? Can the ownership get their act together? Right now, West Ham needs a serious reboot on and off the pitch. Alright, let's shift focus from England to France. Paris Saint-Germain. A club Nasser Al-Khelaifi confidently vowed PSG would win the Champions League. Fast forward to today and that promise feels more like a distant dream. Despite assembling star-studded squads, PSG has struggled to establish a clear identity on the pitch. Constant managerial changes and high-profile player issues haven't helped either. PSG isn't struggling domestically like other teams on this list, but the gap between them and the rest of Ligue 1 in terms of talent and finances is vast. Yet in the Champions League, they continue to underperform, raising serious questions about their strategy and long-term vision. It's a case of lofty ambitions clashing with harsh reality. Without a cohesive plan and stability, turning Al Khelaifi's promise into reality seems increasingly out of reach. PSG needs a reset to address these internal issues and reshape their future. Meanwhile, in Germany, Borussia Dortmund are facing serious struggles. Once Bayern's main challengers, Dortmund have fallen behind, with teams like Leverkusen, Frankfurt and RB Leipzig now posing a greater threat. Their away form has been poor, just 4 wins, 2 draws and 6 losses, while their home form has been stronger. Nuri Sahin has struggled to replicate the success of Terzic, raising questions about the club's direction. Adding to the turmoil, there's been controversy over Youssoufa Moukokou's age, which could undermine the club's player registration process. These issues point to an urgent need for Dortmund to undergo a major reset if they want to compete for titles again. Lastly, AS Roma, a club with a storied history, but right now they're facing some major struggles. They've already gone through 3 managers this season: Daniel De Rossi, Ivan Juric and now Claudio Ranieri, who's come out of retirement to try and steady the ship. That is a lot of upheaval in a short time, and it's been tough for Roma to find any kind of consistency. On the pitch, their form's been all over the place. They've not won a single game away from their home yet this season, which is simply not good enough for a club of Roma's stature. Off the field, ownership under Dan Friedkin has also faced criticism. Fans were particularly unhappy when club legend De Rossi was sacked, leading to protests and chants like "Friedkin go home." Passionate fans deserve a team that reflects Roma's rich history, and whether they can turn it around remains to be seen. That's it for this one, guys. Tell us in the comments how these teams can get back on track. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.